Welcome back to the Geek Gospel. Happy Friday, everybody. We are at the end of the week. Woo! We made it. We're going to get into some fun stuff today. We got the first teaser trailer for Nicolas Cage's Amazon's Spider Noir. Krysten Ritter is coming back as Jessica Jones. We're going to talk a little bit about the Andor finale. And we got a new trailer called Task, which is an HBO series from the Mayor of Easttown creator, and it looks fantastic. And we're going to talk about some X-Men rumors that have just come out in the past day that are pretty exciting if they are true. I'm Evan Bernstein. I am your host. A little housekeeping before we start. Chris will be taking some time away from the show to deal with some personal things, so he will be back in some way or some capacity, but for right now I will be riding solo dolo. So you got me, but stick with us. We got some fun stuff. We got some great stuff coming out this summer, and I hope you guys can comment, subscribe, join the conversation, talk about it, because I want to hear from you guys about all this great stuff that's coming out. Let's get into it, though. We usually start this show with what we've been watching, and I've been watching some great stuff. Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm, Hacks, The Studio, those have been great. But really what I want to dive into is the season finale of Andor. And I hope you guys have seen this, because if not, I probably will go into a little bit of spoiler territory. I just want to say on Tuesday, episodes 10, 11, and 12 dropped. This is the best Star Wars that we've ever seen since Empire Strikes Back. In my opinion, everyone has love for the prequels, the sequels, maybe. But in my opinion, this show is exactly what Star Wars can be. And I just have to say, what makes this show great is, one, above everything else, the writing is fantastic. This, and we've been saying it for a long time, this is basically if HBO made a Star Wars. It has all the makings of serious espionage drama, whether it's within like the Cold War, World War II. This show is just beyond great, and it's beyond what Disney Plus has put out thus far. We've gotten close. I think WandaVision is fantastic. I think Loki is a good show. But nothing, and I like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. Season 3 went off the rails a little bit, but I don't think anything on Disney Plus has come close, whether it's Star Wars or not. And so I want to talk about like what makes this show so good. And we already talked about the great writing. Writing is everything. If you don't have a good script, you don't have a good story, it's not going to be a good show. So I think that above everything else is so important. What comes next is the casting. And with the casting, what I've noticed with this show, it doesn't have to just be the biggest names, right? Diego Luna, he's not the biggest name. He is a fantastic actor, but he isn't the biggest name. He isn't the first choice you would think to lead a Star Wars project. Obviously, Rogue One already came out, so we saw like the capability, but to lead his own show for 24 episodes total, it's a big undertaking. And Diego does it with flying stars. He carries the show. But without him, I don't think the show works. Obviously, it's called Cassian Andor. Without the main character, it doesn't work. But I'm just saying, like, seeing the war through his eyes, because I believe the whole show is probably around 10 years. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So I believe we're seeing him 10 years in the making of the rebellion. And to see it through his eyes, to see what this man has gone through for 10 years to get to the point where we saw him in Rogue One. It's absolutely an incredible journey. On top of that, the supporting cast. Luthen. By the way, this scene is incredible. If you haven't seen it, stop watching until you don't see any more Andor pictures. We're only going to talk about it for a few minutes because we got a lot of other fun stuff to talk about. We got a trailer to watch. But this scene in particular, this is the end of Officer Young. And this is when Luthen is getting, his final bits of information from him, his inside man. And then we see him dead on the bench after. And it just shows like where this character's at. Luthen, not Young, not the one who died, but Luthen, like the ruthlessness, like what the war has made him do. He knows there's no turning back for him. And it's really sad moment. The officer is like, I've given you everything I want. I have the final information. You need to get my family out. And then we see him dead after. And so just using these characters, and Stellan Skarsgård is just like one of the best actors doing it. But he's not just the obvious choice every time. He's one of these actors that just like, I hate using character actors because it's like, I don't want to diminish how good he is at acting, but he isn't always the first choice on people's radar. And I don't know why, because he is one of the great actors, but him as Luthen in this show is absolutely incredible. The pain, the suffering, everything that he pushes down because he knows it has to be this way for him if he wants to succeed in taking down the Empire. And it's just so good, and he sells it so well. Mon Mothma, Genevieve O'Reilly. This actress appears in, actually, her scenes were cut from, I believe, Revenge of the Sith in the prequel trilogy. And then years later comes in Rogue One. Then years later gets the same character in Andor. She's been playing this character for almost 20 years. She knows this character inside and out, but it seems like it was bits and pieces, and then she finally got her due in this show. And when she did, she soared with flying colors. I mean, her scenes are incredible. Being inside the Senate, being the person that knows this is wrong, but knows that if she speaks up, she's just going to get killed or imprisoned, and she's not going to be able to make a difference. And so to take it upon herself to be on the inside with all these wealthy snobs, she was absolutely incredible. Everyone knows the dancing scene, the rave scene. I don't know what the song is, but she is just seeing her dance the pain away, and something in her knowing at some point, and she does in the end, have to leave her family behind, even if she, thinks her, husband is a piece of crap, and her daughter is fully dove into the belief that the Empire and this is the way, no pun intended. Even though it still breaks her heart that like she has to leave everything behind that she grew up and she knows. And the way that Genevieve O'Reilly plays this, and even in her eyes and when she's not speaking and her expressions, and even when Andor saves her to get her out of the Republic, and she sees Andor kill some people. I've seen some memes. The look on her face is like the reality has set in that this is the rebellion. These are the measures that people are taking outside of your space. And she just sells it so well. And so, man, these actors are making the show great, and they're not the obvious choices. And the last one I want to speak about, and there is many, is Deidre. This character, this scene in particular with Krennic is incredible. The looks on her face, realizing that she was trying to make a difference and it didn't matter because in the Empire's eyes, it looks like she could be a conspirator herself. And it's so easy that they can turn away from you, turn against you. And I just have to say, this actress, let me find her name, that plays Deidre is just incredible. Denise Gao. She is so good at being this villainous person, but then the relationship with Cyril and having this soft heart. It's just incredible to see someone like with such range. And then the way that she played this character, like thinking she's doing the right thing till the very end, until she ends up in prison and realizes that everything she did was for nothing. She's all the glory that she wanted, she didn't get in the end. And when Krennic grabs her head and is like, I guess we're going to have to carry on without you. And seeing the realization on her face that like she messed up and that she's going to get no glory. Nobody's going to remember her for all the work she did. Absolutely incredible. So I have to give it up for this show. It is so good. And I don't know if we're going to get something as good as Andor again. And it really stinks because Andor is just on a different level throughout the entire Disney Plus catalog. And so I hope the lesson that Disney Plus takes from this is that not everything needs to be, one, completely tied to what's come before and all the properties that you own, but two, it doesn't need to just be for kids. That these serious themes and having shows that are on HBO level is what Disney Plus can aspire to, is what it can be. And the range of shows that you can have a Skeleton Crew and you can have an Andor and it can live under the same house. And it doesn't have to be serious content at Hulu and fun kiddie content at Disney Plus. And like I said, WandaVision, all that exists. However, it doesn't seem like they're doing enough to separate themselves from the herd and say, we have serious content too, fun content too. And it really seems like they're not utilizing everything that they could to really build up Disney Plus to be one of those competing streamers that we know it can be. And I think Andor is a step in the right direction, but I hope that they take a lesson from Andor and they see that we can have shows like this. We can have HBO type shows. And I'm going to keep using HBO because we're going to get into a HBO type show soon. But we can have HBO type shows that bring in a more adult audience. Slap a TVMA on it, whatever rating you need, but you need to diversify your portfolio. And if you can take anything from Andor, I think it's this lesson. So that's it. I waxed poetic for a little bit. There's so much more I can get into, but let me know what you guys think. Do you love Andor as much as I do? Do you think this is the right step in the next direction of Disney Plus and the shows that they can be putting out? Hopefully, but comment in the comments below and let me know. All right, guys, let's move on to this. Mayor of Easttown came out and completely took over the scene. Everyone was talking about it. The serious storytelling, the actors in it, Kate Winslet crushing it as this Philadelphia cop getting a hoagie. Everyone was talking about getting a hoagie. We completely dove into it. And so I'm like, what is he going to do next? What is Brad Inglesby going to create next? Because this show not only took the world by storm, but it was I'm putting up the wrong stuff. Not only was it a great show, but it destroyed the award season, as it should. And the cast was incredible. Julianne Nicholson, Gene Smart, Angourie Rice, Joe Tippett, Sosie Bacon, David Denman, Guy Pearce. It goes on and on. Kaylee Spaney. It was just incredible cast, and it was beloved. But this was 2021, and it's been a while. And then we saw, excuse me, choking live on camera. And then we saw that he was coming out with the show Task, and it was starring Mark Ruffalo. I'm like, okay, great. If you're going to do a different show in the vein of Easttown without Kate Winslet, because I would have loved the season 2. Sorry, I forgot Evan Peters, fantastic in the show, won awards also. Then you should have Mark Ruffalo in your show. And so the trailer came out yesterday, and I want to watch it with you guys because the trailer is fantastic and it has got me so hyped. So I'm going to put this bad boy on, and we're going to watch the Task. Keep trying to say Trask like it's X-Men trailer. Let's take a look, okay? So good.
I need you out in the field. There's been a spate of home invasions. At least 9 houses. They want me to set up a task force. State Trooper Elizabeth Stover, Sergeant Aaliyah Clinton, CD Anthony Grasso.
It's not exactly a wealth of experience.
We need to find this crew.
That's what I'm talking about. Those young cast, not a lot of pickups that we know. We know the one guy is from House of Dragon. Yeah, this looks so good.
There's even family I got left.
You're not going to ruin their
Start
lives
the
just
beard.
because you ruined
Amazing
yours.
actor. Wow. This already looks so good.
Terribly wrong. People mostly just want to feel less alone. I pray for an answer. All I got in return is silence.
Wow. This is looking so good.
Need a little patience.
Whew! This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
At least
Look at this. The mood, the feeling of Mayor of Easttown, the song choice, by the way, is incredible, but it brings you right into it. You feel the characters, and it feels like these I don't know, these gangbangers, like these guys that are, breaking in, making money. That there's some sympathy there, that you feel their story, that they're not just doing this for anything. And then you got these new recruits, right? And they're a younger, group. We got this guy from House of Dragon, forgot his name. Not the nicest guy in House of Dragon. And you got Mark Ruffalo looking grizzled, looking haggard, and he is one of the greats doing it. Creator of Mayor of Easttown. Man, this looks incredible, you guys. I think this is going to be the talk of the summer. So I think this is coming out in September. So we don't have an exact date per se, but I hope this gets you guys excited because this looks fantastic and I cannot wait. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Are you excited about the show? Did you see Mayor of Easttown? It's been a while. If you haven't, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. And what do you think about this show? Are you excited for it? Now that this is on your radar, has this been on your radar? Drop a comment below. All right, guys. Let's take a look at our next piece, I am so excited about this. When Daredevil Born Again came out, we found out, the rewrites, scrapping the other show, bringing back the characters from the original series. And in our minds, we were, the ones that love the show were like fantastic. But are they going to bring back the Defenders? And towards the end of Daredevil season 2, we see that Fisk has his task force and that Daredevil needs his own crew. And at the end, he's in the bar. It's a bunch of good cops, some cops that we have seen before, and no Defenders, no superpower people, nobody that we knew. Well, it seems like he will not be alone. As it is being reported now, Krysten Ritter is back as Jessica Jones, our girl Jessica, for season 2. And this comes to us from Variety. They are reporting that the announcement was made at Disney's upfront presentation to advertisers in New York on Tuesday. Ritter took to the stage with Charlie Cox to reveal she would be joining the show for its second season. She says, "It's so great to be back, returning to Jessica after 3 seasons and the Defenders and now joining the MCU." Ritter said, "I'm so excited to bring back this iconic character, and without giving too much away, there is much more in store for Jessica Jones. This is going to be an incredible season." Wow. Finally, in my opinion, Jessica Jones is second to Daredevil in the Netflix Marvel projects that they had done in the past. I think Krysten Ritter played this character perfectly. To be honest, I knew of Jessica Jones, but I never read any of the comics. After season 1, I got all the Alias comics and read them all. It is a fantastic comic book series. There's a few different iterations of Jessica Jones, but Krysten Ritter is literally ripped from the pages. Just like with John Bernthal's Punisher, just like with Charlie Cox, just like with Vincent D'Onofrio, I cannot imagine another actress playing Jessica Jones. Look at this character. And she says that she invented the jeans with the leather jacket, the boots look. It's like, girl, you are Jessica Jones. It's straight from the comics. I'm so happy to hear this. And then she said at the end, there is much more in store for Jessica Jones. What does that mean? Does that mean this is only the beginning and that we could be getting a Jessica Jones TV series? The first season of her show was fantastic with the Purple Man. The second 2 seasons weren't as good, but I still enjoyed them because I love Krysten Ritter as this character. I think the third season was a bit better. But I do think there's potential for like we were talking about on Disney Plus, a more, sleuth, private investigator type show. I'm so dumb for not mentioning Daredevil Born Again, also in that trajectory of Andor and bringing up your drama tiered shows within the Disney Plus catalog. But could she mean something else? Could she mean that the Defenders is on the rise? Because as you know, it wasn't just Daredevil and Jessica Jones out of their own show. It was Luke Cage and Iron Fist. And for a while, we did hear rumblings that Jessica Jones was coming back. And then rumors spread that all the Defenders were coming back. However, at Disney upfronts, only Jessica was announced. And of course, they could be leaving up stuff for, surprises. But is there potential to see a Defenders reunion? Defenders, when it came out, there was a lot of hype about it. Unfortunately, it did not live up to that hype. For me, my wife, my friends, Defenders kind of like fell by the wayside. It was pretty forgettable. There were a few good scenes though. There was a hallway fight scene. Of course, you got to have a hallway fight scene where the Defenders are fighting together for the first time. It just seemed like the pacing of the show kind of left things to be desired. By the time all these four were together, it seemed like the story was just kind of convoluted. I was over it. It didn't excite me, but it doesn't mean that there isn't potential to do it again and do it good. And to introduce some of these characters in Daredevil is a great way to do it. Charlie Cox's Daredevil has always been the linchpin to these characters. Arguably, he's the main character in that Defender series. But I think there's a lot you can do. Do I want Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage? Of course. This guy, look at him. He looks straight ripped from the comics. Do I want Finn Jones back as Iron Fist? Maybe. I think that there was a lot of issues with Iron Fist season 1. Namely, he didn't have a lot of time to get the choreography down, so the fight scenes looked a little wonky. I believe that if you give him more time, I mean, he's campaigning for it a ton. So I think there is potential to see him back. And I think if you give him another chance, he could surprise you. He was good on Game of Thrones. Season 2 was a lot better than season 1 of Iron Fist. So I think there's potential there if you do go that route. If you do recast, if you use Colleen Wing, I'm not opposed to that either. But I do think that you should bring the Defenders back in some capacity. I think there's a lot more to tell there. I think there's potential for a new team-up show to make it epic. Do you have it in you to make it epic? Is what Chris Hemsworth has said in Furiosa. So I do believe there is potential. And I would not be mad about a Defender series. I think a Defender series would be great. However, I think I would prefer a Jessica Jones new season or like Punisher special and make it like a movie, which on Disney Plus, which would be awesome too. But I'm so happy that we're getting her back in the comics. Daredevil has a thing with everyone, but he does have a thing with Jessica. I think there's a lot you can play there. Like, he doesn't have Heather as his girlfriend, so if they want to use Jessica as a love interest for season 2, make it kind of murky with Karen being back in it, I think there's just a lot of potential there for great storytelling. And I think Krysten Ritter and Charlie Cox have great chemistry, as you can see from Defender. So I cannot wait to see her in this season, and I'm so excited. So we will see, and let me know what you think. Are you excited to have her back? Do you think that there should be a Defender series? Do you want to see the other actors come back who are part of the Defenders? Drop a comment below. All right, guys. We are almost through the episode. I want to talk a little bit about our boy, Nick Cage. Nick Cage obviously was the voice of Spider-Man Noir in Into the Spider-Verse and was a standout character. He was hilarious. And then Amazon announced they're going to do a Spider-Noir series with Nicolas Cage reprising his role, live action. What could that be? What could that be? Live action. And so it was interesting. Then we saw some like raw pictures of him fighting on a rooftop, the rooftop of a car and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, like this has potential, or it could be really wonky. And then this past week, we finally got a teaser trailer that gave us a good look of what this could be. My initial reactions are, this looks terrible. No, I'm just kidding. This looks really good. This looks like Sin City a bit. You know what I mean? Like this this is live action. It looks a little animated, obviously with the coloring, but I love the color grading. And I think that this has potential to be a fun, good series. And Nicolas Cage is one of the great actors. He does not take a role lightly. He fully dives in. So for him to come back, one, he's a comic book lover. His last name is after Luke Cage, who we just mentioned. If you didn't know, he is a big comic book guy. And two, he gives 110% everything that he does. So the fact that we have Nick, I call him Nick like my buddy, as this character, and then we see the potential with the teaser. It looks fun. The movement looks good. The action looked good in the teaser trailer. And so I think it has potential. I really do. I also think it could go the other way. And it might be a little hokey. It might not be good. But once again, it all depends on the writing. So I want to give it some hope. I think the teaser trailer brings up my excitement. It didn't take me out of it. It didn't make me think this looks dumb. It made me more excited, and that's what you want a trailer to do, especially a teaser trailer. So I think this looks really good. Let me know what you guys think. Did you get a chance to see the teaser trailer? Do you think it has piqued your interest a little bit more? Did it put it on your radar? And are you excited about it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, guys, let's get into our last topic. And me and Chris have been reporting on this a while about X-Men. As Kevin Feige has stated, the MCU is going to be the X-Men saga for probably the next 10 years. And they are going to build up something that we hope is extraordinary. Obviously, this last, couple phases have not been great. The multiverse saga. But there's been some good ones. I mean, I think Spider-Man No Way Home was fantastic. Guardians 3 was fantastic. Thunderbolts was fantastic. Doctor Strange wasn't terrible. There's been some, but I think you have an opportunity right now to fully give your attention to X-Men and build it up to be something really, really special. And that doesn't mean, this is the MCU. So I want some crossovers. I want to see Spider-Man with the X-Men. I want him hanging out at the X-Mansion. And a little bit ago, we talked about some rumors that, the cast for X-Men was going to be younger since they're going to be playing these people for 10 plus years. And we were talking about Sadie Sink from Stranger Things being Jean Grey. Then she got cast in Spider-Man. Now we're hearing today rumors that she's playing Mayday, which is Spider-Man's daughter from a different universe. Potentially could be Tobey's daughter, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, which would be awesome. We've already seen Tobey in the MCU, so that would track. But it seems like she is less and less not playing Jean Grey. And now we are getting some rumors that a different actress is going to be playing Jean Grey. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Of course, we reported recently. The trades recently revealed that Thunderbolts' new Avengers director, Jake Schreier, is possibly set to direct Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot. Casting rumors have run rampant for a while. However, on the Hot Mic podcast, Jeff Schneider says he's heard that similar to Vanessa Kirby in the Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel Studios is building the X-Men cast around Charles Xavier, Professor X, Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Jean Grey's Marvel Girl. Snyder no longer believes Harris Dickinson will play Cyclops. However, he does believe that Twisters and fresh star Daisy Edgar-Jones is the latest candidate to possibly play Jean Grey. If you guys haven't seen Twisters, hell of a time. And this actress from Normal People as well. They didn't mention that from Hulu is fantastic. On top of that, we have some other rumors, but I'll get to that in a second. I want to focus on this first. So this is not as young as we thought. This is not a 22-year-old. I believe, let's see. How old is Daisy Edgar-Jones? 26. Not old, but not as young as what we originally thought, around that Sadie Sink age. However, this is a fantastic actress. I would not be mad at this choice at all. To build your X-Men universe, if the rumors are true, around Professor X and his first two students, Jean Grey and Cyclops, is definitely the way to go. These need to be the cornerstones of your X-Men universe, and of course, Magneto on the opposing side. This actress is really good. Twisters was a really fun time, and she's fantastic in it. I haven't seen her in everything she's done, but I've enjoyed her in everything I've seen her in. Who else is in Twisters? Glenn Powell. Already a built-in chemistry there. Wouldn't be mad at a Glenn Powell Cyclops casting. I think that'd be fantastic. But right now, the rumors are now being reported by Jeff Schneider that Daisy Edgar-Jones could be joining X-Men. If you look at the bottom as well, we have another casting rumor that he's reporting that Colman Domingo could be our Charles Xavier. We've already heard that Colman Domingo has met with Marvel. He was not interested in taking over the role of King from Jonathan Majors, that he wanted to do something different. Oh, I'm sorry. I spelled his name wrong. There's no E in his name. Sorry, Colman. My bad, brother. Colman Domingo has become a household name in the last few years. He is incredible. He started getting recognition from Euphoria. I saw him on Fear the Walking Dead. Recently, The Four Seasons, if you guys haven't seen that on Netflix, is fantastic, with Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Colman Domingo. Like, the cast goes on and on. He has played Norman Osborn in the animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So he's already kind of in the MCU, so that'd be kind of cool. I wanted to see him as a live Norman Osborn. I think that'd be fantastic. But do I think that Colman Domingo would be a great Professor X? I'm going to say hell yes. One, his presence on screen is second to none. When he is on screen, he is captivating. And a big reason, two, his voice. He has such a powerful voice. We are talking about like a James Earl Jones type voice. And so I think that would be fantastic. On top of that, if you were, as the rumors are stating, to cast Denzel Washington as Magneto, I think that these two actors playing off each other would be incredible. I think if you push up the timeline, so it's more about like civil rights era, like 1960s, that would make a lot more sense. Does it hurt me a little bit that Magneto isn't going to have those ties to, World War II and the Holocaust? Of course, because that's a big part of who Magneto is. But for story, for Denzel, if you need to change it, I totally understand that. It doesn't bother me. So yes, I think that if you are going to go the Colman Domingo route and you have Colman Domingo as Professor X, and then you have Denzel Washington as Magneto, and if the casting, rumors are true about Black Panther 3, and you have some crossover with Magneto and maybe Storm in there, like there's just so much potential to tie back into the MCU. What we've wanted for so long, this phase didn't do, is like, it's nice to have standalones, but we don't need everything to look like everything is a standalone. And so I'm wondering, is this the right opportunity to finally have some connectivity between the movies? Have, Magneto in Black Panther 3, have Mayday in X-Men, and also Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much potential to finally have some more connectivity. But I think if you are going to start out with a bang, having Colman Domingo as Professor X and Denzel Washington as Magneto is definitely the way to go. So this makes me excited. This is a fan art. Shout out to whoever did this fan art. I don't know if it's Boss Logic because he does everything great. But man, is he going to go bald? Completely bald? Let me know what you think. I mean, we got Daisy Edgar-Jones as Wonder Girl, Jean Grey. We have Colman Domingo possibly as Professor X, and we have the great Denzel Washington as Magneto. So I am very curious to see how these rumors will pan out. We're getting so many rumors that Comic-Con is on its way. Could we get not all of them, but could we get 3, right? There's 3 right here. Or could we get, like they're reporting, Professor X, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. And now we know these are 3 people that we are going to see for a long time within the X-Men universe. Potentially could show up in Secret Wars. Who knows? The handoff would be excellent. But yeah, that is some more casting rumors. I know we've gone over casting a lot with X-Men. This definitely brings the ages up a little bit, so it's a little bit different than what we were reporting on earlier. I know Patrick Schwarzenegger has now been reported that potentially could be a Cyclops. I don't know if I love that. I think he still has a little bit more to go. I have liked what he's done with Gen V and White Lotus. However, I think there's other actors that could fit the role better. If it is Daisy, why not get Glenn Powell? Glenn Powell is enigmatic on screen as well. And you got to start the X-Men cast off with a bang. And if you introduce this at Comic-Con this summer, wow, you are going to get people excited. It probably will bring more people to Avengers because now we know there's potential that they could show up if you're introducing them now. But let me know what you think. Do you think Daisy Edgar-Jones would be a good Jean Grey? Does Colman Domingo excite you to be Professor X? Does Denzel excite you to be Magneto? We've been hearing that for a while. Drop your comments below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. That will do it for the show. I have talked way too long for going by myself. I need you guys. I need you guys to be there with me. Comment, be part of the community. And I really want you guys to comment when we go live because you guys were commenting when we did the Superman trailer and I loved it. I loved hearing your thoughts. I loved you being part of the community and I love talking to you guys. So please like, subscribe, comment, be a part of the community. We are on all the socials. You can find us at the Geek Gospel at X, Spotify, YouTube, obviously, TikTok, Instagram. I think we are at info something else. Search us up. Be with us every step of the way. I'd love talking to you guys. I love doing this. Chris will be back with us eventually, but in the meantime, why not be a part of the community? Let's have some fun. And if we go live and you guys are there, we can really dive into some fun stuff about the stuff that we love. So tune in next time. I'll probably be doing this weekly unless there's a nice trailer or something fun that drops. Then I'll jump on, do something live. But be with me every step of the way because I love hearing from you guys. That'll do it for the Geek Gospel. Have a great weekend. and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.